you only got into this sport when
5 years ago.
5 years, and you were what age, sorry?
62.
62, well, I didn't want to have to bring that up, but yeah, so 62 you started. Why did you start at 62?
Well, I always had an interest in motorsport even as a kid.
Yeah.
And when I was 17, I bought a Triumph Spitfire with an aim to start motor racing. But as a second year apprentice electrician, and the amount of work that car required, the financial situation certainly wasn't going to match. And then before I got too far with it, just some other events of life happened and moved on, and it didn't happen. From there on, I spent quite a few years doing an engineering course, electrical engineering, and then by the time I finished that, it was buy a house, and then married, kids, the house needs to be bigger.
That's the usual, isn't it?
Yeah. But I always had a passion of sailing. So I was into trailer sailors for probably 20 years or more. And I guess with the trailer sailor, you can take the kids along. As they grew, my two boys were the group, part of the group. We had some great time with that. Sold the boat around the same time that I retired in 2019. I'd already booked to go on a classic car tour to England and Europe, which took in Goodwin, which was a real. If you want to find something to hook you on historic motor racing, go to Goodwin. It's got to be in everyone's bucket list.
Absolutely.
I'd always in the back of my mind, I'd like to do something with motor racing, particularly an open wheeler, and I had this thought for a long, long time. The racing side apart, I would just like to buy an open wheeler race car, do whatever I had to do to get it out on the track, and just go and book a track day by myself and drive all around, and then in your own mind you can be Schumacher, you can be whoever you want to be. But I just didn't really know how to go about it.
Yep.
So on that tour, there was some really helpful people. Probably the most helpful was a guy from Newcastle, Kevin Akers. Also Harry Galloway and Peter Sims.
Yep.
Very, very helpful. And I remember sitting down with Harry one day somewhere in Germany having a beer. I said, Harry, I want to buy a race car. How do I go about it? He said, get on the internet and bloody have a look. So I said, yeah, okay. And then I was talking to Kev Akers. I said, Kevin, I'm going to do something. He said, well, when you get back, give me a ring. A few were saying go Formula Ford. And I'm thinking, yeah, okay, I'm looking at Formula Fords. And then I thought, well, what about Formula Vee? So I rang Kevin up and said, Kevin, I'm thinking maybe if I, to start, how about I go Formula Vee? And he said, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. He said, I'll give you the name of a couple of guys to ring. So I rang Steve Butcher, whether he remembers this conversation or not. I rang Steve Butcher and he told me, he said, at this particular point in time, the best Formula Vee for sale is Cole Mers's car down in Canberra. I rang Cole Mers, yeah. Before I could get to see Colin's car, another guy had already been in, turned up with the cash and the car was gone. So Colin said, come down and see me anyway. He said, I've got another friend, Jeff Bashingwaite, he's got a car for sale, he just lives near my place.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And then I saw on the website, I saw Terry Freckleton's advertisement for his car. So I rang Terry up and I said, Terry, I see your car there. I said, you interested in selling it? And he said, I haven't been, but yeah, he said, I think it's time. And I said, how much do you want for it? He said, around the 10 mark, you know. I said, okay. I said, where is it? And he said, it's in Colin Mers's garage down in Canberra. And I said, I'm going down there this Saturday to see Colin about another car. I said, Jeff Bashingwaite car. I said, I'll go have a look at both of them. So I had a look at Jeff's car, which was a lovely little Avanti.
Yep.
Very well presented car. And Jeff was very conformity with what the car was. And then I said to him, look, I'm going around to Kevin's to have a look at Terry's car. So when I got around to Kevin's and looked at this one, like, this is history.
Yep.
Jeff's is a beautiful little car where you can just enter it in 1200s and away you go, and you'd have a great little car.
Yep.
And I was talking to Kevin, to Colin, and then he said, oh, what else are you interested in? And I said, oh, well, I got an Austin Healey Sprite. And he said, if you've got an Austin Healey Sprite, he said, you must think you've got an historic streak in you. This car's for you. Yeah, okay. Well, 1965 Nota, the oldest running Formula Vee in Australia at this time, as far as I know. It's completely historic spec. That's why we're here in this group. To be quite honest, I haven't really had to do a lot of major work to the car since I've owned it, which is also a testament to Terry. I guess the major thing that I had to do was after about 2 years of pretty solid running in the gear days, the original gearbox started to have a few problems, so I got a second-hand one off Johnny Fabs, put it in, and away it goes. It's still working pretty good that day.
So what sort of gearbox was it? A short or a long, or?
Well, this is the, as far as I know, this is the only Formula Vee that still runs the old original split case tops.
Right.
Which I think probably helps me sometimes on this track coming to the finish line and down the straight, because I'll have to check the book again, but as far as I know, fourth is just that little bit taller than the later model box. So once you get it wound up, coming down there,
you can get some ground on it then,
you
yeah.
Get some ground on it. Yeah. Apart from changing the gearbox, I've had to do a few other minor bits and pieces. All the little linkages for the gear shift were worn out. Replaced all of those. Apart from that, good wheel alignment. I found the nose around, so I've done that. As soon as I did that, I could feel the handling improve a little bit. I think more recently, the biggest change I've made is because the Formula Vee Association were running with the Dunlops. I bought a set of Dunlop tyres because there'd be so many places I'd go and I'd talk to people, what are your tyre pressures, what are this and that. They're all on the Formula Vee preferred tyre Dunlop. No, we'll go to that because then we're talking the same thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's you're in this situation where you're learning as a driver, and then is the car setter. So you get all the advice and you make these little tweaks to the car. You go, oh yeah, the car's going better. Yeah. And then you go, okay, it's going a bit harder now. I'm having this problem. So then you're doing this. I'll improve the car. Now I've got to improve my driving. You're doing a bit of that as you go along. So it's a real balance act. Yeah.
Well, it is a learning curve, isn't it? Because, you know, you can't expect to jump in for 12 months, 2 years and know it all. I mean, looking at the track and looking at some of the wealth of experience around there, these guys have been up and running for God knows how many years, and they must have their cars absolutely right by the time they get there. And I don't even see them tinkering with them. So.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that's one thing that I don't do with this car. I'll spend a week on it before a gear day or before this, going over everything, making sure everything's tight, all the fluids are all right, there's no leaks, particularly leaks, do this, do that. And then when I arrive at the meeting, last thing, do the tyre pressures, do the fuel, start it up, it sounds like it's running okay, if everything else is all right, I don't really touch anything.
So, just a quick one, let's go back to the species of this car again. So it's a 65 Nota.
Yes.
It's the oldest running V we have in the class, so VA, the very first of the VAs, pretty much.
Yeah.
Anything else outstandingly different apart from the gearbox being one of the originals?
Volkswagen Keystar.
Ah, there you go. Rod, thank you very much for your time, mate. Anyway,
Okay.
stay on the black stuff, mate.
Okay. Thanks, Darren.
See you, mate.